Welcome to Good Libations, which is our show about mixology. And again, as I talked about on a previous show, the request was made that we make some cocktails that are suitable for dessert beverages. And yes, you can go out and buy pre-made mudslide mixes and whatever. But again, you're using a mix when you do that, and it's not the same as making a drink from scratch. So we're going to make a dessert drink, a truly bona fide dessert drink from scratch. And as with the other dessert drink that I made, you can actually make this drink in a non-alcoholic style if you want to use those Italian syrups that you generally add to coffees or to make your own Italian sodas or whatever. You can get vanilla ones, you can get coconut, you can get virtually any flavor. And you could use that to make this type of a drink. And I like to make this drink using chocolate ice cream because to me, there is no other, but you may choose to use vanilla for that matter. You won't want to use a fruit ice cream or gelato for this. You will want to use either vanilla or chocolate because we're going to use Kahlua liqueur on this, and of course coffee with strawberry or something of that nature would be quite odd. Although conceivably you could use raspberry if you so wished, because some people like the combination of chocolate and raspberry. But anyway, we're going to set about making this drink, and we're going to use the blender to make this drink again. And don't let that put you off. As we've discussed before on many other shows, blended drinks became the nadir of mixology because they were used to make cheap, weak, crummy drinks to pawn off on happy hour patrons, as if we didn't know the difference. How insulting. Anyway, we're going to add some ice to the blender. And we're going to add just enough ice to make one drink, not to make a whole carafe full. Because again, this is for demonstration purposes. So that's what I'm going to proceed to do here. So now that the ice has been added, I'm going to use Kahlua, as I mentioned from the onset. And we want to make sure that we get a decent amount in there. We may even have to add more. And then I'm going to add vodka to this drink. Because vodka and Kahlua, as we know, go very well together. You can make a black Russian with that. And you could also make a white Russian with it as well, if we add cream to it. Now, some people, in addition to the Kahlua and the vodka, might want to add milk to this, along with the ice cream, but to me that's like dairy product overkill. The ice cream is sufficient. You don't need to add milk to it, I don't think anyway. And our chocolate ice cream is nice and melty. And this is beyond regular chocolate. This is chocolate that has bits of fudge in it. So this will be nice and chocolatey. And sometimes things don't exactly come in the proportion that we like them to be. So I'm going to taste this drink after I whip it up. And if I need to add more Kahlua, I shall, or more vodka or whatever. And don't be afraid to do that because it is not necessarily the mark of an amateur. If you do things too much by rote, it's kind of like painting by numbers. We want our drinks to be creative and interesting, not made according to formula. That's one of the reasons why I like to free pour instead of measure, because it's like you're doing things according to a formula. Not interesting. Anyway, we'll see now that I've said all that. And again, we're not aiming for a real icy type of a beverage like a smoothie or like a frosty type drink. We're aiming just to dissolve the ingredients. So I'm going to give it a preliminary taste to see if this is suitable, and then if it needs to be tweaked a bit, we'll do so. So we shall see. This is called quality control. Oh, I think that is absolutely perfect. The marrying of the ingredients and the totality of the flavor is just as it should be. This is not a situation where one ingredient is overpowering the other, but this is a marriage of ingredients. And I like to use the analogy of a burger. A good burger has to be a totality of the burger, the cheese, the brioche bun, the sauces, the tomato, the onion, and the lettuce in perfect proportion in order to taste truly good. If anything is overpowering or out of sync, you can tell according to your palate. And again, according to my palate, this is very, very nice. This is absolutely suitable. It's not weak. It's not overpowering in any ingredients. It is perfect. We'll give it a bit more of a whirl. And then I'm going to go ahead and divest it into our glass. And as with the other dessert cocktail, I'm using an old-fashioned glass because I think it displays the drink very nicely. And it's good barware. Old-fashioned glass is a staple of bartending and mixology, so always keep that in mind, along with chimney glasses and, your margarita glasses, and especially your classic martini glass. So I'm going to go ahead and divest the rest of this into the glass. And if you wish to do a garnish, you could use a couple of coffee beans. And also, feasibly, you could use a little bit of orange, because orange does marry beautifully with chocolate and coffee. So you could use a bit of orange if you wish. So I'm going to add a little bit of orange, and I'm going to leave the little wedge in there. So that way we have a garnish which beautifies the drink. It makes it look attractive. And you can see the bits of the chocolate swirl in there too. It almost gives it like a cookies and cream type of a look. But this is truly a good dessert beverage because it's not sickly sweet. And somebody who doesn't have a palate for sweet drinks could enjoy it as a dessert beverage. And those who like sweet drinks will be absolutely thrilled with this drink, if not stupefied by it, because it is a lovely dessert cocktail. And again, I'm Ethel Andrews. I'm a mixologist. And I appreciate you tuning into our show about mixology, Good Libations. And we go to great lengths to make original drinks with simple ingredients that you can make yourself at home, and also simple tools, not fancy barware, which is absolutely unnecessary unless you want to make a display of something and distract from maybe your lack of skill. And we want to enjoy our drinks in moderation. It does a disservice to our community to drive unsafely and to imbibe unsafely, so let's be careful and let us use good sense. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Good Libations, and I'm going to have a little sip of this. Absolutely perfect. Thank you again. Goodbye.